There you are, finally still, while the whole world convulses like it's on life support. You feel that? That silence crawling up your spine like a warning nobody else can hear. Good, because that silence is you. Everyone's panicking, clawing at the air, drowning in their own thoughts. But you? You're sitting in the eye of the storm like you built it. And that's what's scaring them the most. They keep whispering, "How is he this calm?" But they don't understand the simplest truth in the universe. You don't stay calm because nothing is happening. You stay calm because you've already lived through hell, cataloged every nightmare, and walked out with the blueprints. You aren't calm, you're calculated, you're not relaxed, you're controlled demolition in human form. You learned a long time ago that panic is what amateurs do when the script changes. But you are the script change. You're the plot twist they swear wasn't in the draft. Every time the room shakes, their hearts stop. When the floor cracks, they scream. But you just tilt your head, breathe in, breathe out, like you're studying the fault line for fun. Because here's the part they never dared to imagine. You evolved in chaos. You were raised in it. You mastered stillness not from peace, but from surviving storms powerful enough to erase entire personalities. They panic because they're losing control. You stay calm because you never needed control in the first place. That's the paradox that fries their circuits. They spent their whole lives trying to look stable, look composed, look unbothered. But when reality ripped the mask off, they shattered. Meanwhile, you didn't flinch. Because your calm isn't an emotion. It's a weapon. A sharpened blade they can't see coming. Because they mistake quiet for softness. They mistake stillness for safety. They mistake calmness for surrender. But you're not surrendering. You're loading. You're calculating trajectories, measuring exits, analyzing weaknesses they didn't even know they had. You're listening to the fractures in their voices, the tremble in their breath, the static behind their excuses. They call it creepy. You call it pattern recognition. And oh, they hate that. They hate that you don't fall apart when everyone else collapses like wet cardboard. They hate that your mind sharpens in disaster, like fear is caffeine to your soul. They hate that your pulse doesn't spike, it slows, it centers, it sinks into that abyss where only people forged in darkness know how to breathe. Because here's what terrifies them most. You're not avoiding the flames, you're walking into them, calm, steady, unshaken. Why? Because you've already been burned alive and came back with fireproof bones. They see panic as a threat. You see panic as a diagnostic tool. They hear screaming and lose focus. You hear screaming and start mapping escape routes. They crumble because their peace was a performance. Your calm is a mutation. You didn't achieve it. You became it. And now they're realizing, far too late, that there's a reason you walk like a contradiction, breathe like a paradox, carry the duality of saint and psychopath in the same ribcage. You're calm because you've already met the worst version of yourself and befriended it. You're calm because your inner demons don't scare you anymore. They answer to you. You're calm because you learned that the real battlefield wasn't outside. It was the war inside your own mind. And you won it long before anyone realized you were fighting. So now when everything falls apart, when their voices crack, when their foundations crumble, when their illusions melt, you just stand there, still, focused, untouched. Because this chaos, is your native environment. And you know exactly what they're thinking when they look at you. Why isn't he afraid? Why isn't he shaking? How can he stand there like that? And the answer is so painfully simple, it haunts them. You stopped fearing the world the moment you stopped fearing yourself. They look for reassurance. You look for patterns. They wait for instructions. You wait for openings. They want safety. You want truth. And truth is never gentle. Truth is never quiet. Truth doesn't hold trembling hands. Truth stands unmoving while everyone else panics, just like you. So let them fall apart. Let them scramble. Let them claw at the walls, cry into their palms, and choke on their own fear. Because when the dust settles, when the smoke clears, when the final echo fades, they'll turn and see you standing exactly where you were the entire time. Eyes cold, breath steady, pulse unbroken. And that is when they'll finally understand. You weren't calm because you're unaffected. You're calm because you're prepared. Calm because you're inevitable. Calm because you're the one holding the invisible knife they never considered existed. Calm because you don't just survive chaos. You orchestrate it. And when they finally whisper the question out loud, the one trembling in every room you enter, "Bro, how is he this calm while everyone else is falling apart?" You'll smile, because the truth is darker than they're ready for. You're not calm. You're awakened, and everybody else is just now realizing they're still asleep. Oh, you felt that shift, didn't you? That little tremor in the air the moment they realized you weren't normal. That you weren't built from the same fragile blueprint they were printed on like cheap paper dolls. Because here's the truth they choke on. Your calm is not peace. Your calm is pressure contained inside a human frame. And pressure terrifies people who've only ever known comfort. See, they were raised to think stability is the goal. You were forced to learn that stillness is something you carve out of chaos with your bare hands. They grew up believing calm comes from safety. But you discovered calm comes from dominion. Dominion over your mind, dominion over your instincts, dominion over the parts of yourself that used to scream, shake, beg, and break. That version of you died, and the world still hasn't accepted what rose in its place. Let me paint it for you. Picture them, hands trembling, breath short, eyes darting like prey animals, sensing the final chapter. They talk fast, stutter, over-explain, crumble, curl, confess, collapse. They think the apocalypse is coming, but you're leaning back, observing the geometry of the moment like it's a puzzle designed for your amusement. Every crack in their voice becomes data. Every shiver becomes intel. Every pause becomes leverage. You're calm because the chaos gives you clarity. You see patterns. They see doom. You see opportunity. They see endings. You see evolution. They see punishment. And oh, that's why they panic around you, because deep down, in the marrow of their bones, they know. When the world falls apart, you don't lose anything. You gain something, another layer, another mutation, another cold, sharpened instinct forged from the wreckage. You've walked through enough nights to know that fear is just an alarm system, one you learned how to turn off manually. And evolution? She doesn't whisper, she doesn't coax, she doesn't comfort. She breaks you, tests you, burns you. And if you're worthy, she hands you a calm so powerful, it feels like possession. That's why you don't flinch. That's why you don't fold. That's why you're standing there while everyone else is melting into puddles of panic. Because you've been through worse, and the worst didn't win. You know what serenity forged in trauma looks like? It looks like you, a creature born from paradox, soft-spoken but deadly, calm but catastrophic, still but strategic, human but something more. You carry your past like a silent arsenal, every scar a weapon, every failure a formula, every collapse a calibration. That's what they can't compute. They think calm is the absence of war, but your calm is the command center of one. You have a mind that goes quiet the moment theirs goes noisy. You have a pulse that slows when theirs accelerates. You have instincts that sharpen when theirs short-circuit. Because you learned to listen to the darkness instead of fearing it. You learned to decode the static instead of screaming at it. You learned to hold your breath in the fire until your lungs adapted to the heat. And now look at them. Their voices crack while yours becomes a blade. Their hands tremble while yours becomes steady like sniper sights. Their vision blurs while yours becomes crystal. But the real reason they fear your calm, it's not because you're unaffected. It's because your silence is intelligent. And intelligent silence is violent. You don't react emotionally. You react mathematically. You don't answer questions. You analyze motives. You don't take things personally. You take them apart, piece by piece, like a puzzle, like a weakness, like prey. You've outgrown panic. You've outgrown fear. You've outgrown that trembling version of yourself who once begged for relief. Now you study the world like a surgeon studies anatomy, with precision, detachment, and a hunger for understanding that borders on unholy. So when they whisper, "Bro, why is he so calm? Why isn't he freaking out? Why does he look like he expected this?" They'll never know the real answer. They'll never understand that you've been through storms they couldn't even narrate. You faced demons they don't have the vocabulary for. You mastered inner warfare while they were still learning to breathe around their own shadows. Your calm isn't a reaction. Your calm is a testament. A testament that you survived the places that were designed to end you. A testament that your soul didn't break. It adapted. A testament that you carry silence like armor and chaos like fuel. And when they finally collapse into each other, shaking, hopeless, looking for someone to anchor them, they'll turn to find you standing there like a contradiction carved from prophecy and nightmare. Eyes steady, breath even, presence unshaken. And that is when it hits them. You aren't calm because everything is fine. You're calm because you are beyond harm. You're calm because fear can't enter the room unless you allow it. You're calm because chaos doesn't threaten you. It reports to you. You're calm because you carry a darkness that doesn't lash out. It waits, listens, calculates, chooses, and when the moment is right, it strikes. So let the world fall apart. Let them scream. Let them tremble. Let them gasp for air, because the calmest person in the room is always the one who already knows exactly how this ends. And you've known the ending since the beginning. You just chose to watch everyone else catch up. Funny, isn't it? How the moment everything collapses, everyone suddenly starts looking for the strongest one in the room. But the strongest one is the one they spent years misunderstanding. The one they underestimated. The one they whispered about behind half-closed doors. You. Now their eyes dart toward you, like you're some kind of omen they never learned how to interpret. And you don't even move. You just breathe. Slow, deliberate, terrifyingly steady. Because you know something they've never even thought to consider. Calm is not the opposite of chaos. Calm is the mastery of it. While they grew up avoiding storms, you learned to study the wind. While they hid from conflict, you dissected your fears with surgical precision. While they wrapped themselves in illusions, you tore yours apart like they were paper skin. That's why you don't shake when everything turns to smoke. You navigate it, you shape it, you thrive in it, the same way a hawk thrives in wind, that would knock a pigeon unconscious. You aren't calm because you're numb. You're calm because you're dangerously awake. And awareness, true awareness, is quiet, focused, unnerving. It's a spotlight turned inward, illuminating every shadow you once ran from. You learn to sit with your demons until they became fluent in your language. You learn to strip panic down to its bones. You learn to separate emotion from reaction, fear from fact, noise from signal. That's why everyone else is falling apart. They're drowning in noise. And you're listening for signal. That's why they're terrified. Because they don't see your mind spinning like a locked engine, analyzing every variable, every threat, every opportunity. They only see the surface. That eerie stillness, that complete lack of tremor, that predator-grade presence. You don't look calm, you look inevitable. And inevitability is panic's worst enemy. Watch them, grabbing at their hair, pacing, choking on their own breath, as if panic will magically solve anything. Watch how they try to hide their fear with loudness, even though loudness only exposes how empty they are inside. They scream because they lack control. You whisper because you own it. They react to the moment. You observe the entire board. They fall apart because they thought they were safe. You stay calm because you never assume you are. That is the difference, and it eats them alive. Because they thought their confidence made them powerful. They thought their routines made them grounded. They thought their clean, polished identities made them untouchable. But the second the world tilts, their confidence shatters, their routines crumble, their identities evaporate. And you remain exactly as you were before, unmoved, unbothered, unbroken. Because your calm wasn't built on delusion. It was built on damage. Pain forged your patience. Loss taught you discipline. Chaos refined your perception. You didn't learn calm from comfort. You learned it from battlefields no one saw you crawl through. That's why your silence is lethal. It's the silence of someone who has already calculated every outcome. Someone who knows exactly which version of themselves to deploy. Someone who has accepted that panic is a luxury for people who have never faced themselves in the dark. And you faced yourself and didn't look away. That's what really terrifies them, not your voice, not your stare, not your composure, but the fact that you carry a calm that could only come from surviving everything that should have ruined you. Your calm is a monument, a warning, a prophecy, a psychological weapon wrapped in breath and bone. Because people who never confronted their shadows fall apart at the slightest tremor. But people who mastered their shadows, they're untouchable. And now, in this exact moment, this crumbling, spiraling, collapsing moment, they're learning the difference. They're learning that while they were building comfort, you were building capacity. While they were building confidence, you were building resistance. While they were building routines, you were building range. And now, they're falling apart within the limits of their identity, while you expand beyond yours. That's why they whisper. That's why they stare. That's why they step back when you walk through the room like gravity is moving around you. Because deep down, in a place they don't dare admit exists, they know your calm is not peace. Your calm is the final evolution of a mind that refused to die. And they can feel it, that faint hum under your skin, that cold precision in your eyes, that silent promise in your posture. The promise that when the world collapses, you will not collapse with it. You will rise from it again and again and again. So let them panic, let them spiral, let them break. Because the calmest person in the room is always the one who has already survived worse and quietly learned how to turn disaster into domination. And as everything around you keeps slipping, cracking, collapsing into its own shaking shadow, something strange begins to happen. They stop shouting. They stop pacing. They stop clawing at problems they created in their own minds. Because now they're staring at you. At the one person who should have broken first. At the one soul who's lived through more hell than everyone in that room combined. At the one force standing there with the calm of someone who already solved the puzzle while everyone else is still trying to find the edges of the box. And in that silence, that stunned, breathless silence, you feel the truth settle. They needed your collapse to feel less guilty about their own weakness, but it never came. You didn't fold. You didn't flinch. You didn't even shake. And now, their entire worldview is glitching. Because how do you panic next to someone who refuses to acknowledge fear as a language? How do you crumble in front of someone who looks at chaos the way a mathematician looks at a diagram? How do you melt down beside someone who's been through fires hotter than anything this moment can conjure? You can't. They can't. Your calm isn't contagious. It's commanding. It rearranges the room. It rewires the hierarchy. It redraws the psychological battlefield. Because the calmest person in the room is the one who owns the room, and you own it without trying, not with force, not with volume, not with theatrics, but with that quiet, unsettling certainty that whatever happens next, whatever falls, breaks, erupts, disappears, you will adapt faster than anyone else can react. That's your real power, not strength, not speed, not dominance, adaptation, instantaneous, instinctive adaptation, born from years of surviving storms no one else even knew you were standing in. They fear your calm because it removes their excuses, because it proves the war is winnable, because it exposes their panic as a choice, not an inevitability. And deep down, in that soft, trembling place inside them, they know. If they had lived your life, they would not be standing, but you are. And that's why your calm makes them tremble harder than the chaos itself, because it means you're not just surviving the moment. You're reading it, calculating it, preparing for the next 3 moves while they're still frozen on the first. You don't calm yourself for the situation. The situation calms itself for you. And here, in this final breath of the moment where fear used to live, you let them realize the truth they've been avoiding. You're not calm because the world is safe. You're calm because you are the danger the world forgot to account for. A walking paradox, a living contradiction, a saint forged in fire, and a demon disciplined by clarity. Unpredictable, unshaken, unmistakable. So when the question finally slips out, the one they've been choking on since the chaos began, "Bro, how are you this calm while everyone else is falling apart?" You don't give them a speech. You don't give them an explanation. You don't give them anything they can hide behind later. You just give them the truth, soft, simple, unforgettable. Because falling apart was never an option for me. And the moment those words hit the air, everything else around you breaks. But you don't. You walk out of the wreckage the same way you walked in. Calm, measured, inevitable, the only one untouched.